Greetings, everyone. Live Life Well TV host Robert Landau here with another episode of Top 10. This episode, we're going to take a look at the most highly rated board games for seniors. So get ready. We're going to start in just a moment. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge happierhuman.com. So let's start out with the 10th most popular board game for seniors. And it's one that you know very well. I'm sure you've played it many times. I certainly have. However, I haven't played it recently. I really need to. Scrabble. Scrabble has long been a classic, obviously. It's a favorite word board game. The game was created in 1938 when renowned architect Alfred Mosher Butts, B-U-T-T-S, was looking for a way to make ends meet. He designed Scrabble to utilize both chance and skill in a single game. Brilliant man he was. Currently, Scrabble is manufactured by Hasbro Gaming, one of the giants in the game manufacturing industry. The board comes with no less than 100 wooden letters, 4 tile racks, and 1 drawstring letter bag where you draw your letters. The goal, of course, is to score the highest number of points when all the letters from the bag have been drawn and played. There happen to be bonus points for utilizing scoring hotspots and using all your tiles in one single turn. Scrabble is recommended to you because research shows that it significantly reduces the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. So interesting. And besides that, it's a hell of a lot of fun to play. Number 9 happens to be something else you probably know very well, chess. Yeah, chess. If there is a game that's more classic than Scrabble, then of course it has to be chess. This game has its roots in the Indian strategy game by the name of chaturanga, which originated, get this, before the 7th century. Chess, of course, is a 2-player game that uses a checkerboard with 64 squares in an 8x8 grid. If you're not aware of the game's rules, and I've actually forgotten because I haven't played chess in centuries, the goal is to checkmate your opponent's king by cornering it in an inescapable position. Checkmate is a game position in chess where the king happens to be in check or really in danger of being taken, and there happens to be a way to prevent the attack, but that's up to the players to figure it out. Chess is perfect for the senior market because it's a board game that stimulates and engages our brains. It also improves logical reasoning and problem-solving skills. Most importantly, the classic board game has been proven to lower the risk of age-related cognitive illnesses like dementia. Board games are so healthy to play. When you combine that with fun, you really have a winning combination, which brings us to number 8. Wonder if you know that one. I bet you do. I've never played it. Yahtzee. Yahtzee is great entertainment for those who love to play dice games. It was designed and created by the one and only Milton Bradley and first marketed by the National Association Service of Toledo, Ohio as Yahtzee. It is currently owned by Hasbro, the same manufacturing company that produces Scrabble and Monopoly. The game has one simple objective, and that is to score points by making specific combinations. You got to roll the dice to create the combos, and you need to be careful for the dice to stay in the box. There are 13 rounds per game, and after each round, the players have to choose which scoring categories they should use. Note, however, that once a scoring category has been used, it cannot be used again for the rest of the game. The winner is the player with the most number of points at the end. Makes logical sense to me. Yahtzee is good because, just like so many other of these games, it happens to keep the brain sharp and prevents age-related cognitive decline. Number 7, boggle. Never played that one, have you? Boggle happens to be another product of Hasbro Gaming. Although it was originally distributed by Parker Brothers, it is a word game invented by a guy by the name of Alan Turoff, and the goal is to create as many words as you can within a given set of rules and within a given time frame. To start the game, players need to shake the covered dice and then settle them into a 4x4 tray. The top letter of each cube should be visible because it is where the words will come from. After that, the timer is started and each player lists down all the words they can find from the letters on the dice. Interesting, I need to play this. Boggle is said to be a great game because it promotes creative and critical thinking. It stimulates the brain and slows down the process of mental aging. It also improves concentration and encourages socialization among players. Number 6, big letter bananagrams. Now I know why I felt moved to wear this yellow jacket, If you're familiar with the simple version of bananagrams, which I am not, then this big letter version will probably be familiar as well. The only difference between this one and the original version, of course, is the size of the letters. They are larger, and the tiles use more contrast to make it easier for all of us to see, particularly those which happen to have low vision. The goal and the rule of the game are simple. It's very simple. You just need to create words horizontally or vertically on the board until there are no more letter tiles left. Whoever is the first person to have used all of his or her letters once there are no more to draw happens to be the winner. Note, however, you gotta shout bananas to be considered victorious. The big letter version of bananagrams was inspired by an 85-year-old man from Chicago suffering from macular degeneration. He loved playing bananagrams, but always had a hard time playing comfortably because of his vision issues. Macular degeneration, of course, happens to be the leading cause of vision loss. So the company behind the word game created the big letter version, and kudos to them. All sales, proceeds of this particular version of the game are donated to the American Macular Degeneration Foundation. The manufacturer aims to support the organization in its mission to help people maintain or have better vision. Number 5, never heard of this one either. It's a game called Ticket to Ride, and it really sounds cool. Ticket to Ride it happens to be for those who love travel and adventure. Many do. Do you? It's a game that will help you reminisce about your vacation moments in the past in relation to cities and sites in North America. If you're looking for the perfect travel-themed board game, then this, called Ticket to Ride, is a fabulous option. In this game, the goal of each player is to connect the railway routes uniting the cities of North America by matching train cards, as well as finishing objectives and accomplishing missions. It's designed for 2 to 5 players. This board game has been around 30 to 60 minutes. It takes about 30 to 60 minutes of play time. That's really perfect, actually. This game is recommended because it helps one's brain be active and clear. Moreover, it is a game that can be played with many, many different people of many, many generations, as actually all of these games can be done. So here's number 4. It's called Hive, Hive. Hive happens to be an addictive, award-winning board game that can keep anyone busy and focused. Although it may seem difficult to handle, it is actually recommended for players of all ages. The goal is to keep an eye on your hive and try to defeat the opponent's queen bee. What makes this game so very interesting is that there is no board to start with. You have to plan to play the pieces strategically so that they can create a board. As you add your pieces, you aim to surround the other side's queen bee. At the same time, you also need to make sure that you protect yours. According to the manufacturer, this game is designed for players who are 8 and above. Most customers agree that it is very suitable for the senior market because, among other things, it keeps our brains sharp. Number 3, you know it so well. There was a little mention of it just before in this episode. It is Monopoly. I think just about everybody has played at least one game of Monopoly, and I think it is immense amounts of fun. Monopoly, of course, is a classic board game. This is because it is not just a game of chance, but also strategy. As you might know, you start the game with a few dollars, then each player attempts to buy, sell, and trade properties, and eventually tries to own every property on the board. At the same time, players must look for ways to ruin their opponents. Monopoly, of course, is a strategy game, meaning it is good for practicing problem solving and decision-making skills. Likewise, it is a game that you will love because it gives you a strategic possibility to win big amounts of paper fake money. Who doesn't want to do that, huh? So if you haven't played Monopoly recently, give it another try. I think you're really going to enjoy that, which brings us to number 2 in our top 10 countdown of highly rated board games for seniors. It's called Scattergories. Probably you've heard of that. If you don't like to sit down and play long games, then Scattergories might be a really great option for you. It works by a letter being drawn at random, and there being several different categories. For example, animals, countries, and cities. Each player must name one thing that starts with that letter and fits into the specific category before their opponents do. It sounds simple, but in the moment, it's usually quite tricky to fill up the categories, especially if you happen to get the letter Q. You got to think of words in each of those categories, for example, that start with the letter Q. It doesn't need a board, and you can play quick rounds wherever you happen to be. It's a great board game because, well, it's a 3-letter word. It's just a hell of a lot of fun. Which brings us to our last board game. You know it. Gosh, it's another one I haven't played in such a long time. Trivial. What's the second word? That's right, Pursuit. Last on this list is a game that will test your general knowledge, and specifically if you happen to be playing the Trivial Pursuit Classic Edition. This retro version of this iconic board game consists of no less than 400 cards, 1 die, 6 wedge holders, and 36 wedges. There are 2,400 trivia questions in total. The questions are super It also has a classic gameplay that everybody knows and loves. This means that you won't have a hard time understanding the mechanics of the game. Simply, it's just about enjoying the questions and seeing how many you can answer. So, if you haven't played a board game recently, see if you can make it one of the ones we just covered, or any board game, because number one, they're fun. Number two, they challenge your brain to think and work things out. And number three, you can be with other people and play these games and smile. So I'm going to smile as I leave you. I think I always do anyway. It's like it's permanently stuck to my face. But this has been Robert Landau, Live Life Well TV host. Thank you so much for tuning in.